I would think about that myself because, again, you got to remember, I'm white, man, and I'm fighting for me right now. I don't have time for y'all to accept this man after he done had sex with another man and he walks back out there with us.
The Mexicans, man. I hear things. Tango Blast.
Tongo.
What was their situation like while you were there? How did they treat you? Did you have any dealings with them? Were they the worst?
No, not at all. What do you mean the worst? Like
gang,
what?
Like when it comes to a unified front, gangs.
Oh yeah, they was very unified. Let's put it that way. They always are. Mexicans are like that. See, I'm gonna tell you something. We was having a riot one time. Never forget this. These Mexicans was going at each other. I think somewhere in the valley was going at this, and all of a sudden it started off with the brothers involved, and now the Mexicans and the brothers are fighting. They would stop going to war and teamed up to go against the brothers. Like that blew my mind. Mexicans don't play like that, man. They're pretty much, and they're very respectful, most of them. You know what I mean? When you're in prison, that's just how that rolls, man. That Tongo, now, you gotta understand something too. Let me tell you some real shit, man. When I was in prison, I was in the 90s. There wasn't a lot of Tongo that I knew of. It was in the 90s, we had Mexican Mafia, Texas Syndicate, and a lot more that I can, go name it. But it wasn't, not toward the end of my stretch, and the time I came back is when I really seen a lot of Tongos. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. Now, there's, I guess you call it a misconception. It's just this thing they put out, I guess you could say in the movies and shit, that a white boy comes into a prison system, weak, small, whatever they, weak-minded, he becomes some
prey.
Yeah, some prey to some black dude. I seen a real story of a guy named Eric, I forget his last name, but he mentioned his first week in prison, he was violated, he was raped, and in which a situation, a black dude put a knife to his neck, and the gay said, hey, it's either your life or, or it gets down. Of course, the situation happened. He came back a week later and I don't think he killed him, but he stabbed him. He got his lick back.
He redeemed himself.
But the fact that story is like a story that goes out there, how true to the world is that as far as a white boy that comes in who by himself, he ain't associated with nothing, he's not no gang member, that he might be.
Well, a lot of times, just be honest with you, let's just keep it real. When the white boys come in, they're definitely prey. But the reason being, and let's get that out, because they didn't grow up that way. All right. And when they get there, they're from other parts of Texas, then, they're just country boys or whatever, good old white boys or whatever. I don't know, but they wasn't built like that. You understand? So when they get there, all races that were in there try to make them pay protection. See, when you walk in the penitentiary, it's fight, fuck, or bust a 50. That was, back then, that was rolling. Like, you really had to do that. And see, I never, you had to be a homosexual to have sex with another man. But believe me, there's men down there that are gangsters that call themselves gangsters, excuse me, and they having sex with men. They ain't never coming home. But the white boy, when he comes in, let me tell you how it really goes, man. The ones that really get it the worst is like the child molesters, right? And the people that hurt older people, like them white boys, and it ain't just white boys by far. Now, they're gonna check it all, and that's why they try to keep it quiet in Ferguson. In prison, they don't really just announce what you're in there for. You have to send a kite home, and then they start screening that now because it got so bad that they were paying protection. Like, they had to pay to be in there, like every week, bust a 60. They was having to spend that money, and it was real bad in the 90s. In the 90s, you had to pay protection. When I went back in the 2000s, after I got out, they put this rat on the wall. It was for protective prison program or whatever. And I never forget it. Nowadays, this is how easy prison done got. If you go in there and say, they're trying to make me pay protection or they're trying to do something to me, immediately they come get you. Immediately. You hand that kite to an officer, boom, immediately. Like, they come in, he's packing up, like, where's he going? Oh, they said, and then I'm gonna tell you something else. Whoever they said that was trying to do that, he goes straight to lockdown immediately.
Yeah, you could weaponize that. You could just do that just to fuck with a nigga.
Well, another thing is a lot of them come in there and want to pay protection. They get a free ride. I mean, they don't care how you feel about it. I ain't got to worry about nothing. As long as they don't disrespect no family, they go over there and do what they want to do. They're kids. They're doing whatever. They don't care about their commissary. All they care about is their ass and their freedom. at the time inside, you know?
What was the rule if you said that's a homosexual that is actually going to go after and pray after whatever it is? Was there any part of the gang units, whether Bloods or Crips, that was on that type of time?
Right. Yeah.
And what happens with their rank within if they have?
Well, here's the thing again. So many people come from so many different places. You may have Austin, and you may have San Antonio, and you got Fort Worth. You got Dallas. You know, Fort Worth and Dallas. We've always in prison. We pretty much was together. You know, understand what I'm saying? But you never, as far as I would think about that myself, because you know, again, you got to remember, I'm white, man, and I'm fighting for me right now. I don't have time for y'all to accept this man after he done had sex with another man and he walks back out there with us. Like, I'll never forget, I ain't putting no names out there, but I was on television and I remember punks' names and I remember dudes' names that was doing the thing and they was gang related. And what am I gonna do about it? I mean, if they let him do it, I'm worried about Eastwood, Peru. I'm worried about Funky Town. I'm worried about finding back to my home. If you want to be out of somewhere else and do some gay shit and everybody's accepting it, that's y'all's business. You know, I don't know how they put that into words, bro, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, they do.
I hear they get out. I'm sure you probably ran into someone that you've seen in the pen. I hear they get out and they live false lives.
Right, well, they get out. Well, you know, again, I've been lucky to this day. I've never met one that's home.
Okay.
A lot of them wasn't from Fort. I don't remember nobody from Fort Worth in my remembrance that was having sex with another man and walking with us. But I almost said some names. But they're out there and they claim to be bloody.
Now
they got respect for being bloody. And then all of a sudden they walking their boyfriend to child. Hey, them punks was out of Dallas, Texas. I remember their names, man. I'm trying to tell you this. I'm not. And the dude was out of Abilene, Texas. Shit. And let's go past that.
Yeah, let's get past that.
I don't want to hurt nobody's feelings.
My nigga. There was this, you mentioned, of course, and again, you keeping it real as hell that you've lost fights, you won fights, and towards the end, you was getting even colder to where you stopped losing barely any fights. Well,
I never really just lost a fight terribly.
Yeah.
I'll be honest with you. Even my first fight, I come from the hood. I had heart. I could fight. And I knew as long as I kept my jab out there, you wasn't going to pass it. Just keep that jab out there. Now, don't get me wrong. They go to wrestling, they pulling whatever. They're in prison, they're going to do it all.
Yeah.
Whatever, all means for survival.
When you hear someone come in and say they've never lost a fight in prison.
You ain't had many.
Is that believable as far as?
No. Hey, yeah, it's believable because they had a reputation where nobody was gonna bother them. No. But when you was on it's a lot of hard hitters coming out of Dallas, Texas. I remember them too. They didn't have to fight. Understand? There's a dude named Tyrone Cotton. Everybody knows him. Man, they better not mess with old Tyrone Cotton. He was about it with them hands. And they knew that. So yeah, I can say that. There has been people in prison that has never lost a fight. And again, you're not pressured when you are somebody like that. They're not gonna pressure you unless you disrespected somebody. I remember we was on Telford unit, Tyrone Cotton, and you got two boys. I can't remember the name, but one's a Crip and one's a Blood. I remember that. I remember Tyrone got to be in his cell with his sons, and like Tyrone was a hard hitter. He was a hard hitter, right here, 5-time state champion from what I was told in prison. But I had all kind of number love and respect for him, and you'd never think that man was who he was. He was cold with them hands.
Lockdown is one thing. You're about to do solitary,
right? All that. I've been in solitary. Here's the thing, before you go, so what happens is you get into a fight, right? They send you a thing called PhD, that's solitary. Now that's not ad seg. Now ad seg is where you go and you're signed back there to a cell all alone. But that would be somebody that was really I don't even know, you could imagine why you would go there, right? Either killing somebody or on gang fire, some notorious Aryan Brotherhood or what, you know what I mean? Like the old, the gang members that been in prison for 20 years and, they put them back there in segregation. Ad seg is administrative segregation. But when you get like I said, we get into a fight, they'll send you to PhD, which is lockdown. And you got to do like 30 days back there waiting on your major case to flow through. And then they'll decide what they're going to do from there. And again, you don't just have to go to aggravated segregation. by fighting, by certain things, you could get caught. Here's the thing. In prison, you come in as a minimum custody, and then they have a medium custody, and then they have a closed custody, and then they have segregation, aggravate ad seg, right? So you don't just jump from here to here. You know, you're going to have to keep continuously fucking up to get to that point. You understand?
How were you making money? How were you? Did you have a hustle, or did you have people on the outside sending you stuff?
Yeah, no, I was part of. Once I found out that you could, and again, I don't feel good about this, but you're asking me, and the thing about this internet is I'm gonna keep it a buck, man.
Please do.
I'm gonna keep it real the whole time I'm on here because I ain't having nobody say nothing that wasn't right. I like to. I was in on the making them pay protection. You understand?
Yeah.
And I mean, I would when I caught me a weak link, I'd have no money, man. And I would, you know, you didn't even have to, a lot of times they were so weak, you wouldn't have to fight them. You just take them under your wing. And basically, you know, now ain't no booty shit. Wasn't no gay, nothing. I would take them under my wing, and then we would, you know, you could sell them. You could sell them. After so long, you could sell them to another race or to whatever or whoever, and they would buy them.
What's the cost? What's the going rate for protection? What's the going?
60. You always want to let him eat at the end of the day, man. You want to let them have their food too, because you want to keep them. What you got to understand is it's like a hustle. Like you want to keep them. You don't want to do them so bad that they don't want to, and they want to leave. You want to keep them right there and just keep everybody off of them. You understand? That's the difference, man. It wasn't like, and I was never the one that wanted everything. Like, man, I was good with, you know, I think out of a $60 spend, I get 30. I get half, you get half. And that was good because most of the people didn't give them nothing.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Like they were sitting there starving, and I didn't understand that because this was like a job. Like I had to protect him, and I'm gonna protect him with my fucking life because he's paying me to make that happen.
You took the job serious.
Yeah, the ones that was in the 90s, it was a serious job.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, it wasn't like you just had to do it every day. But them type of youngsters are not that what, you know, them type of people that was in that position, they could let their mouth overload their ass real quick and have you in all types of problems.
Yeah.
You know, you done disrespected the Mexicans over here, and it's your boy. Who you think they coming at? They ain't coming at your boy. They're coming for you because now you let him, you know, he did too much. So that was kind of my hustle, you know. I never really had a lot, but I was like anybody else and everybody else. We had to make something out of nothing.
Yeah. Man, that's some real shit. Damn it. Did you have any skills in prison? Would you say, like, you know, I see that everybody technically has like a skill. Did you ever learn a skill? Did you ever pick up anything? Did you ever?
No, my only skill, like I learned how to play handball real good, so I had that little bit of a skill. I played handball real good, actually. That was one of my favorite pastimes. I learned how to tattoo in prison.
Were you good at it?
Right, yeah, I could build a tattoo gun out of a little bit of nothing, a relay and about a pen. You know, we're in there. You know what I mean? So I skint a lot of people up doing that, and you know, I got a little better at that over time. Got out of prison and tattooed for a long time. I even carried a homemade tattoo gun around with me